Hello and welcome to Team Make It Team Call. We have a call weekly, and that is what you have stumbled upon or have chosen to come listen to. I hope that I give y'all some good information tonight, stuff that I've been researching, learning on my own, and just want to definitely share with y'all. First of all, I definitely want to share the fact that we do have a weekly team call. 7:30 is for my challengers and my challenge groups to have accountability and extra support there. We just come, check in, get out, and make sure we're on the right path and headed towards our goals and not away from them. And then at 8 o'clock, we have our coach team call, which is what this is right now. We also need to make sure we're tapping into Fit Life team calls. There's tons of good information that goes on there, different information than what goes on here. So make sure that if you're on my team and in my downline, if you're not on that page, shoot me a message because I will add you to that page because we don't want to miss out anything on there. Now, this call is a little bit different because I usually do two different ones, but I'm combining this one tonight, because I think whether we're just a challenger drinking Shakeology or deciding if we're going to be drinking Shakeology or a coach sharing Shakeology with other people, we need to know what we're putting in our bodies, and we need to have confidence in knowing what it is so that we can share and answer questions whenever people do ask us what Shakeology is and how it compares to other things and why it's more superior to a protein drink they can get off the store. So just FYI, I wanted to say that before I just, these are the packages down there on the bottom, 20-day fix and extreme and size and 3-day refresh, all of course with Shakeology. Those are on sale this month. So if you are getting tired of your current workout or need something to graduate to, you have those options. And of course, with coaches in my downline, we want to share this with our potential clients who are looking for something or looking for something new. So there is that. All right, so Shakeology. I have been doing lots of research, and there's tons more to do and so much more that I can learn about Shakeology, and I want to. And the more that I research it, the more confident I become in it. And like I said before, whether we are someone who's trying to decide if Shakeology is right for us, or we're already drinking it, or we're a coach sharing it, we need to know what we're putting in our body. We need to know why it's superior. We need to be able to answer questions from someone else as to why we've chosen to drink this, why we've chosen to share it so that we get other people on it because we think it's important and we think that it is superior to others. So, a lot of people, and I've been asked this a lot, what's the difference between Shakeology and a protein shake? Well, a protein shake is just that. A shake that has protein in it and most likely some fillers, some artificial flavoring, and some additives, because I've never tasted protein alone by itself, but apparently protein alone is nasty. So the protein drink from the stores that you get off the counter, it is protein. And that is it, along with artificial flavors and fillers to make it taste good and to to add to that powder. So Shakeology is, yes, it has protein, but it has so much more in the ingredients list that benefits our body. It's ridiculous how much more it has than just a protein drink. And yes, it's a little bit more expensive than a protein drink, but you pay for quality also. Just right there, you have protein in one, protein plus a gazillion other things in the other. So of course your price is going to be a little bit different. So, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute, but Shakeology uses whey protein, which has less fat, and it has very high amounts of very clean protein. And of course it has other protein sources, and with our vegans, we have the pea and oat and rice and chia and flax and sacha and chia. I hope I'm saying that right. All this information, by the way, I have just gathered from listening to the podcast on Shakeology. So if you want to go into more detail and dive in, I suggest you go listen to those, because this is what I'm sharing the information from. Like I said, protein shakes are just that, and this has so much more in it. It helps us to have our health as help our health as a baseline into achieving more. And Darren O'Lean explains that we can't just buy one thing, like one micro or macronutrient, I think he said, can't change our health and our diet. So for example, he said we could not just take protein in a protein drink and it's going to transform our health, just like we couldn't take and only focus on carbs and it transform our health. We need a healthy combination of all of that and all of those and more with the vitamins and minerals and everything else that's in it. So this is Shakeology is a nutrient dense formula with ingredients from around the world, places that are we're working with indigenous people, and we are working with soil that has been virtually untouched compared to ours here. This is like the building blocks and the basis for our health and our support for our immune systems and just the way we function. So we can think of it as a protein drink is just one-dimensional, and Shakeology is multidimensional, which is going to give us more benefit to our bodies, right? So the ingredients and the quality are just so much more superior. They really take the time and the best resources to formulate Shakeology. They hire the best of the best. They have very high standards. And if they don't meet those standards, facilities don't meet the standards that Shakeology and Darren O'Lean and Carl Deichler have, then they don't work with them anymore. So they really start to have a relationship with these facilities and these indigenous people and utilizing what they have in their area of the world. A lot of companies don't send their own teams to these facilities that are mostly out of the country. They don't send their teams over there to investigate and check and make sure everything's running properly and all the checks are in place and everything is clean and procedures are done right to make sure that when it gets back in the bag in our hands in our home, that it is as perfect as it can be as possible. And Shakeology does send their own teams and they work with these facilities. If you don't send your own teams, then, who knows what could happen. Those high standards start to drop down because people can start to slack in their jobs and the quality goes down and it's less than top notch. That does not happen with Shakeology. They send teams over and they make sure that everything is efficient as possible. They audit the facilities and they test the ingredients in that country after they go through all the tests that are required by them and by Beachbody. And after that process, they go through our testing. And then they're sent to the U.S. where they're tested again. And when they pass that, which Darren O'Lean said in the podcast, that might be like a microbiological test or a medical or whatever active component is supposed to be in there. Once they pass those tests, then they're able to go to the co-packer that blends it together and puts it in the bag, and then it's tested again. So the standards are way, way high, and so many tests, random bags are taken to be tested and there's all these checkpoints, and that should give us comfort to know that they really do care about what goes in that bag and how it takes care of us. I know it comforts me. So the standards are very high and way beyond what other companies are doing, and that is Darren O'Lean said on the podcast is just dangerous and irresponsible. And I think so too. And it's also up to us to make sure we're researching and making sure we're not being dangerous and irresponsible with what we put in our bodies. So, I started Shakeology without much research, but I'm doing more now. And I'm glad that I fell upon it the way I fell upon it and didn't fall upon something that could be really detrimental to my health. But with Beachbody, when Carl Deichler, our CEO, wanted to come out with this shake, this thing that we could put in our bodies because we don't like vegetables or whatever, we need this to help us adapt to our surroundings in our world today, he said absolutely no compromising. He did not want to compromise on ingredients just to shave down the price to get people to buy it. There was no compromising. So we just need to take fact in or take, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm gone blank. Just rest assured that they are taking the steps possible to make sure that this stuff is good and passes all their checks and safe. So they mentioned in the podcast how our teams develop strong relationships with the facilities and teams in the other countries as they do this, and with those indigenous people there. And it's not just a business to run, that they really do create relationships. And each ingredient, they said, just has its own story, where it's from, how it survived, what it has to do to survive, what part of the world it's in. Oh, sorry, my kids are around. What kind of condition it is, and what kind of person takes care of it, and which manufacturer takes care of it. They just have their own story. There are more people, they said, that fail their audits to produce and make it into the bag than there are that pass it. So again, with the very high standards, and it's ongoing. These checks are ongoing. So this, I think, helps to improve the process of those facilities in the other country and make them better at what they do. It helps to improve Beachbody, which in turn helps us to improve our lives. So in the podcast, it asked why the ingredients were removed, or sometimes ingredients are removed. And Darren O'Lean said, because sometimes, because of the popularity of Shakeology, they're removed because we just kind of run out of that supply, and so they need to remove it. But also because of their high standards, some partnerships just don't meet that, and that makes them break off their partnerships and relationships with that facility, and in turn that ingredient, and they have to take it out. And so I thought that was a great explanation, because I have noticed, a couple times they've reformulated and dropped some things and added others, and that's a great explanation, I think. So another podcast in that series that I really suggest you go and listen to all of it, because he's going to go into more detail, was the science behind it. And the science behind Shakeology, and how and why it reduces cravings and increases our energy and improves our digestion. We're eating food in volume to satisfy a stimulus in our brain that is telling us we're hungry, right? And when we fill up on those empty calories that aren't going to fulfill us on a cellular level, he said, aren't going to fulfill us with the proper signal to go back to our brain saying, okay, we're eating the right foods, you can be full now, then we're always hungry, and we're always reaching for those bad things. And adding this will help us to stop that vicious circle of a bad habit, I guess you could say. So it could send to our brain we're not hungry anymore, because we're still hungry. Our brain thinks we're still hungry, but we're eating so much, but it's so much of the wrong foods. So he labeled a term nutrient stress, because we're eating all these pizzas and pastas and things that didn't come out of the ground or off the tree, and our body has to deal with that. So we have like stresses, and we're going back to, with Shakeology, we're going back to the food that they ate long ago, and back to the way we're supposed to eat, and not leaning on our processed foods, and hopefully starting to try to supply our body all the time with great things. And they are leaving the ingredients alone as best as they can in the most natural state, so they don't mess with that molecular structure. I was told one time that the molecular structure in Shakeology is not changed, which is important. In my mind, it makes so much sense. It's important because our body recognizes it. So if we take spinach from the ground and spinach in Shakeology, that molecular structure will be the same. So our body will recognize it and use all of the components and vitamins and nutrients and minerals that has in it that we can utilize to become healthier. Our body sees it and utilizes it. And many other companies take ingredients like spinach, since that's our example, and they take out the good part of it, or they change that molecular structure, and our body's not going to recognize that. And so it's going to flush it right through. Gracie, sorry, my dog's going into the room it's not supposed to. Gracie, out. So it's not going to recognize it and not going to utilize it, and therefore it's passing right through us, which means so is money. We think that we're saving when we buy a cheaper or less expensive drink. So in actuality, you're throwing more money away. This has everything that our body really needs to help deal with those outside stressors. And we need more of it today than what we ever have before in the past, just because of all the stuff that we have, that extra stimulus from chemicals to just things in life, they mentioned. So I thought it was great because they said disease was created over time, and so is health. So adding one thing, little bit by little bit, baby step by baby step, is going to introduce that compound effect, where if you drink a Coke, or just one Coke every day for 20 years, I mean, your health is going to decrease over time so much. And the opposite is true. If we just drink one great drink for us, over time, we are going to improve our health more in the end than if we don't. So it's just the core of health. And they mention the daily dose of dense nutrition, which is an awesomely cool phrase, but it's not just that. It is it's a phrase that means something, and that we can utilize and we can really use as that health created over time and that compound effect. I'm sorry, he's yelling at the dogs. And we can create that compound effect over time, and you know, daily, if we do this, it's going to create good things in our body and for our health. And so that's another great thing about doing this and other healthy things for our body. It is packed with super nutrients, and they have gone and searched the earth, like I already said, in the indigenous part of the world, and have found very high amounts of vitamins and antioxidants and all these things that help us to build our immune system and to combat the free radicals and to just really help us improve our health. It's got adaptogen herbs in it, which, you know, is hard. I did not know exactly what those were. So, I mean, in looking those up and then hearing them explain it is just, herbs, plants that grow in a climate that they really have to adapt to and kind of struggle and really push themselves to survive. And they strain in those areas to survive, which means they produce more of the good things and the good qualities about that plant that so they can survive. So it strengthens the components in that plant. That's what I'm trying to say. And so those help them to survive and adapt in that area. And the same thing can happen to us when we eat those plants. It helps us to adapt and to survive the stressors of our life, and to improve our immune system, and to lower our stress, and to just help us to just adapt as we go through our daily life. And adaptogen herbs have been used for like apparently thousands of years in this way. So it's not anything new. It also has, has so many other things, prebiotics, probiotics, to help us function and help us to just have healthier bodies. You know, and it helps our digestive system and has digestive enzymes in it, because when we're off, you know, if our bodies are off, it helps us to put things in motion, and it really does help us be regular. And I can personally attest to the fact when I am not regular on drinking my shakes, I am not regular with my digestion and things moving through and doing what it's supposed to. When I am on point with my shakes, I can tell a huge difference as to, I know this might be TMI, but as to how regular I am and how easier it is. I don't have to strain, if you will, but it makes you more regular. So anyway, these are some great starting points, I think, to what it is. I also had it explained to me once before that if you take toilet paper, which I know is a weird analogy and is so fitting that I just ended the other part of this conversation with, bathroom talk. But if you take toilet paper and you have one from the dollar store and you have the best of the best, like, I don't know, Charmin, Angel, whatever's your favorite, and you compare the two. Your dollar store toilet paper is thin and you can see through it and it tears easy. It just doesn't get the job done as well. And if you do get the job done well, you have to use a lot more of it than the better quality toilet paper that you use less of to get the job done, and the ingredients are just more superior, and that's why. So you're paying for a little bit more to get that, but in reality you're wasting a lot more on that first one with less ingredients, with less quality. So yeah, that's a lot of information about that, and I hope that is helpful. So I always get well, it's just too expensive. And I used to think that too. And yes, it's still something we've got to put into our budget because you're buying in bulk. So if you know what Sam's or Costco's is, if that's around you, then you go to Sam's and Costco's and you buy in bulk. So you pay a little bit more for what you're getting up front, but you save a little bit more because you're individually, the items are a little bit cheaper because you're buying in bulk, right? So it's the same thing for Shakeology. If you are a customer on HD, you're paying $5 for your meal, and it is a meal. It is not just a protein drink. And if you're a coach, you're paying $4 a meal. Now, you can't go anywhere and pay $4 for a complete meal, much less a meal that has all of the health benefits that Shakeology has in it. You can't go anywhere except for home, and even at home, you're not getting the full effect of the nutrients because our soil has changed over time. All of the chemicals have, depleted the nutrients in our ground and in our vegetables. So you're, again, not going to get as high quality, nutrient dense formula in your at home eating either. So yes, it's something to put in your budget, but I guarantee you there's something that you can do to make it work. There's something that you can eliminate, and people say eliminate Starbucks, eliminate the drive-through, da-da-da-da-da. And I know that some people don't have those things because I didn't have those things. We had cut out so much when I started Shakeology because of our Dave Ramsey plan that I didn't have those things to cut out, if you will. So I understand that argument too, but I made it happen and made it work. I stopped going through, the drive-through when I did go through it. I stopped buying the extra sweets and snacks at the store, and because I was getting that. And then I said, all right, I'm going to share it with just a couple people so that whatever money I do get, I can put it towards that. So there's a will and a way for you to make it happen if you really believe that this is something that can help you in your health. I also know that, we say we don't have the money for it, and I know money's tight in our society right now, but I also see people, they tell me they don't have the money for something, and then they post on social media their shopping spree from last week or their binge drinking from the weekend before. And I just shake my head because those things could have been misplaced and Shakeology could have been put in their place. So it's a shame, but I know everybody just has to see it at their own time and their own pace, and that will help them get to where they need to go. And it's got to be a priority for them and their health. So I hope that helps. I hope this chart helps. You see the difference in your savings, and you can be a discount coach. You can be a coach without ever wanting to work the business, just utilize the savings. That's what my mom does. She's never going to work a business, but she's utilizing the savings. So anyway, if you are ready to take the Beachbody Challenge with me, then please, I did take this from another coach, but I loved the image and I didn't want to alter it. But please let me know if you want to take the challenge with me. And that is just trying Shakeology and utilizing the program and checking into my Facebook private page with me and joining me once a week on Zoom to have extra accountability and support and encouragement for myself. My email is coachlindsay.ali@gmail.com. I'll put it in the links below, and I will let you go there because I do have a little guy in my lap wanting my attention. So thanks for listening, you guys. I know this was kind of a longer one, but such good information, and I am really excited about what I'm learning about Shakeology. Just had to share it with you. All right, thanks, you guys, and I will see y'all on the next call.